Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Lieven Vervekken, CEO of Diabatix, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this launch of ColdStream Next, our next generation generative design software for thermal management that you should also get familiar with. It won't be only me presenting our latest features, but together with me is our Chief Product Officer, Roxanne, who will also take her share in explaining you what's new to come and what's there to be explored. So let's immediately dive in and let's show you what's on the agenda of this webinar. So first of all, and this is a big novelty in this in ColdStream, is we are launching implicit modeling and making it available. Implicit modeling has been on the market in some context on structural management. Well, we are moving it to thermal management and with some very fancy and very nice results that you should explore together with us. And that also allows you to eliminate human bias from the design process. Also there we introduce some very interesting workflows that Roxanne will be happy to show you and demonstrate how it works exactly. Of course, manufacturing support is a critical aspect when designing for products that you want to put in practice. So also there we further improved our capabilities together with launching ColdStream in multiple hosting locations all over the world. Also there, Roxanne will tell you everything in detail. And if you stick to the end, especially when you're a startup or scale up, we have some very exciting news for you as well that we want to share, because we have some very fancy things that you should be aware of. But let's immediately get started, and maybe for everyone who is new to Diabatix, who has for who this is the first time that you are familiar with us, let me start with just telling you one thing, and it is a vision of a company that has been around since the day we were born, and it is that from our early start, we actually believe that smart algorithms can empower engineers to design beyond imagination. Basically, everything we do is to help you take the next step in your product design and actually outperform at a level that you couldn't reach with any of the tools, any of the capabilities you had before. But now, ColdStream Next. Let's get started immediately with the very first step, and let me explain you what it is about. ColdStream up to now was about helping you creating a detailed design, helping you solving your problem. What we have learned over the past few years is that that's of course not the only aspect in the thermal design cycle that is important to you. And especially when you look at early phase in the design cycle, main question that you might have is, okay, what concept do I get started from? And a concept could be having starting with CNC milled design in aluminum, or would you need to consider 3D printed copper, or maybe a die casted part could be of use to you. In that very first phase of your design cycle, what you actually want to do is evaluate many different shapes, and that's exactly what ColdStream Next is offering to you, as you will see in a minute. After this detailed phase, after this concept generation phase, my apologies, comes of course the detailed designs. Once you have selected the concept or concepts you want to further further explore in detail, well, there is where the topology optimization, the real generative design, comes into play, comes into good use, starting from the concept that you have pre-selected in an earlier stage. And of course, last step, once your design is finalized, what you probably want to do is evaluate it in a wide range of circumstances, wide range of boundary conditions, to see what the usability is, how far you can push the boundaries with that single design, or maybe if you have to circle back and make some modifications or expand towards other operating conditions as well. So, but let's look at the fast concept generation, because we have here a very nice video that will show you what it is about. So here you see this very nice electric motor with some electronics components in there, and you see a whole series of shapes being automatically tested to see what the performance is of them from the cooling perspective, and selecting then the most optimal design. And that's exactly where implicit modeling comes into play for you. So we extended our library of shapes that are evaluated quite significantly from considering only pins and fins to a wide range of shapes, going into the 3D printed section with these implicit models, gyroids, linoids, and so on. All have become available to you. But as well, we extend quite extensively on the pins, the fins, the diamond shapes, and so on, combine them with all the ranges of manufacturability constraints you can set to make sure that not a single option has been left untouched. And everything you saw in this video, and that's really something we're absolutely proud of, is generated almost on the fly. So every generation, the generation of each and one of those designs, including the evaluation, only takes a handful of seconds. So that means that you get instant feedback on what shapes are relevant for your application, what the performance is, and you can actually start evaluating and comparing them against each other. Now, this is of course something I would like to show you in more detail, so let's immediately jump into ColdStream and I'll walk you through how this particular setup actually came to be. Voila, here we are in our familiar ColdStream landing page or project overview. So let's dig into the project, the power electronics box cooling, to show you how we actually came to this result. So inside this project, again, you have your cases overview, where you see all the way at the top where I created a copy of the case we actually executed, just to show you in a very flexible way what the setup was about. So if we load the setup of this case, voila, you see here the different parts of the electronics box coming back. Let's remove the housing cover. Voila, and there you see the electronics components shown in blue. There are a few chips in orange and in green that will produce the heat, as you will see. It's not configured in this copy yet, but let's just assign them a solid. Voila, we can give them a material, for instance. Let's make them copper. Voila, like this. And we can add a heat source, for instance, of 10 watts, like this. Voila, and that way we have configured this part. Not going to show all of the details of this case. What I wanted to show you is what we actually can do now with ColdStream with the design spaces, and we have 3 design spaces given. Well, as highlighted here, now that's the design space number 2. This is number 3, and here at the bottom is design space number 1, and there you see it becoming interesting. So here for this design space number 1, you see it has been configured to consider gyroids for a certain manufacturing technique. Well, let's do the same for design space number 2, for instance. We're going to configure this volume as a design space, a design region, where, and this is then the very nice thing, where we can actually select all the different shapes that we want ColdStream to evaluate for us. And as you can see, you have here at the top, you could consider CNC milled shapes, pins, fins, diamond profiles, and so on. Don't be misguided by these images, because it's not that they are automatically put in a regular pattern. It will automatically also consider staggering, intermediate, interrupted profiles, and so on. So the full, let's say, the full set of shapes that is being evaluated is much larger than what you just see here. What you see here is basically what the profile of one of those elements will look like. Same thing with the 3D printing. So you have here a number of profiles. We will select them now for this evaluation, but there again, note that the shapes that you see here are only one unison, one element in the full shape, how it will be constructed. So for instance, for the gyroids, it can be more structures than what you see here. It can be fewer, can be stretched, can be pressed. All of that will automatically be evaluated and considered by ColdStream. Not something you need to worry about. What you need to be aware of is if you select gyroid here, you can trust that ColdStream will evaluate all the possible gyroids and all the possible configurations of a gyroid for your particular case and evaluate whether it actually makes sense for you to use it or not. Same for die casting and even for battery cold plates that are typically made out of sheet metal plates. Also there you can actually now enable this concept generation mode, considering again dimple structures or elongated channels. Voila. So, but let's now select the 3D printing mode, and together with the basic shape, you can also configure then your manufacturing technique. I'm just going to randomly pick one. Voila, and a printing direction. Like this. And so what you basically have explained now to ColdStream is which shapes you want to evaluate. In this case, six basic shapes, base geometries, together with the manufacturing constraints. And within those set of constraints, ColdStream will search for the most optimal configuration. Final thing we should do for to finalize this setup is, for instance, is selecting a material, voila, and you will see then a green check mark popping up, populating this here next to this design 2 name. Now, I'm not going to make the full case setup for you during this webinar. For that we will organize dedicated webinars later on throughout the year if you want to have all the details. But what I'm going to show you now is actually what the result looks like. So if you go back to this project, we can go into this second case, which is actually an evaluation of the correlations, and there you will see within the design evolution, voila, how the case actually progresses over time, starting with iteration 1, the shape that you had, the geometry that you see here on the screen now, very smooth, very fancy 3D printed structure. And as the iterations progress, you will see that that ColdStream will evaluate completely different geometries for each of the 3 design regions that we have. And with the evaluation, you immediately get an estimate of the performance. The performance in this case being a temperature minimization on different regions, as you can see here at the, let's say, the regular curves as we have them at the bottom. So here I selected deliberately selected one that is badly performing. You will see, it's of course less intuitive to evaluate or to judge why these are less performant than the others, at least from this interface. But that's of course where ColdStream comes into play and where you can actually trust the results. Moving all the way to the end, you'll see, and the green dots, remember, green dots always show up to that point what the best performing design is, and then all the way at the end you see then for this this heat design number 2, it suggests a split P structure. For design 1, a gyroid structure is being suggested again with specific specifications on the height and the width. And here at the bottom, design space 3, again, a split P structure is being suggested with other parameters clearly than what you have in design 2. Now, if you want to get started with these designs, you have 2 choices at this moment. On one end, as always, you can simply download the results with this download design button. You have the download the results or export the results, in this case towards ANSYS, if you want to do a simulation and analysis within ANSYS of these tools or of these designs. Of course, you can and we strongly recommend to do these analysis within ColdStream, as it is available to you at basically with a few clicks. But what we most of all recommend is to use this point, this concept as now a starting point for your next step in your design cycle, and that is actually going into a detailed modeling. And that detailed modeling can either be running an additional standard design, but instead of with correlations, you can make it CFD based to further increase the accuracy of your models and really narrow down to the absolute optimal for these base shapes, and or Alternatively, you can immediately use it. You can use these shapes in the context of topology optimization and really connect this implicit modeling and topology optimization to get to a performance that not a single other tool in the market can actually offer to you. And all of that is, you might have guessed it, all of that is available by simply clicking this Improve Design button. And what happens next is something that Roxanne will explain you during the workflow. Voilà, Roxanne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lieven, for the introduction. With ColdStream Nxt, we introduce a completely new workflow experience. The newly introduced workflow mode enables you to utilize ColdStream capabilities to their fullest. Whether you are in an early design phase and want to explore various design options, or in a final design phase aiming to prepare a detailed design for prototyping, ColdStream is here to support you in each stage. Following a step-by-step workflow tailored to your needs, ensure that you will achieve your expected results efficiently. You will have more interaction with the software and the ability to intervene and adjust your case setup when needed, without introducing human bias into the results. The workflow you create is visualized in a clear and comprehensive way, ensuring that you can always trace the complete path you followed to achieve your results. With ColdStream Nxt, we are thrilled to announce that users now have enhanced control over their manufacturing settings, offering a more tailored and versatile experience. Whether you are pursuing a design with standard shapes or opting for a fully customized approach, the ability to select your preferred manufacturing technique has been amplified. The expanded manufacturing parameters present users with a broader spectrum of possibilities. Notably, you can now specify a minimum and maximal channel width, providing finer control over the intricacies of your design. Additionally, some other parameters have been updated, allowing for more nuanced adjustments to meet your unique requirements. To explore these new and updated parameters in detail, we invite you to visit our documentation page. Here you will find a comprehensive overview, empowering you to make informed choices and leverage the expanded manufacturing capabilities of ColdStream Nxt for your design needs. Explore the diverse array of manufacturing techniques available on ColdStream to bring your designs to life. Whether you have a specific manufacturing preference in mind, or seek to evaluate and optimize your design across different techniques, ColdStream empowers you with the tools and resources needed to make informed decisions. CNC milling, die casting, 3D printing, sheet metal forming. Elevate your design process by leveraging ColdStream's comprehensive suite of manufacturing solutions, tailored to meet the diverse needs of your projects. Besides improving your workflow experience, we also bring ColdStream closer to you. ColdStream Nxt now offers hosting in multiple strategic locations, including Europe, South Korea, and the United States, providing users with the flexibility to choose their preferred location prior to account creation. This geographical diversity is a deliberate effort to enhance the overall user experience, ensuring optimal performance, security, and speed for our global user base. By hosting in Europe, we cater to users in the European region, offering reduced latency and improved speed for seamless access. Similarly, our presence in South Korea ensures that users in the Asia-Pacific region experience enhanced performance and responsiveness. And the inclusion of the United States in our hosting locations caters to a vast user demographic, providing quicker access and efficient utilization of ColdStream capabilities. Choosing a specific location before account creation allows you to tailor your ColdStream experience based on your geographical proximity, addressing concerns related to data transfer speeds and network latency. This approach not only improves the overall speed of operations, but also enhances the security of user data by complying with regional data protection regulations and ensuring data sovereignty.
Voila. All right. Thank you, Roxanne. And as promised in the beginning of this this presentation, this webinar, we have some very exciting news for all the startups and scale-ups out there. So let me start with just saying what we had so far in our offering, and that is on the one hand our regular commercial offering for SMEs and corporates in the world, offering the whole, basically the whole shebang, everything, all their capabilities, all wrapped within one package. And for students, we had a light version of ColdStream, which is free of use for them, and which is still out there. They can apply for it, and we grant them as after evaluating their request. Students can still get their free access. But what we're launching now is, and it's really an absolute pleasure to announce it, we have a startup package now available as well. So dedicated for all the startups out there who are in the need of thermal management for the new and state-of-the-art products they're developing. We want to support those companies by granting them access to ColdStream to support this development and making it as smooth as possible for them to find and solve their thermal management challenges. So if you're a startup or a scale-up and you have the impression or you have the feeling that ColdStream might be of use to you, don't hesitate to navigate to our website and fill in the startup package form to get in touch with us, and we evaluate your request then so that you can get started and solve your problems through our generative design engines. Voilà, and that brings us to the question part of this webinar. Throughout this the past half an hour, we had a few questions coming in, which I'm more than happy to answer. If you still have questions on your mind that you want to ask, now is a chance to drop them in the chat box. If we don't address all of them during this section, don't be worried. We're writing them down so that and we will for sure come back to you in the course of the next few hours or days with the reply to your inquiries to make sure that you're all of you are helped. But let's see what's on your mind here. So first question I see, it's with respect to the file format. As usual, the inputs to ColdStream are still the most common CAD format in the world, being the step file that we upload, and then the output of ColdStream is also in step file, but is as well available in STL format, 3MF format, and a few others as well. Step file is the one that is the main one. Okay, let's see other question. With respect to the targets, it's a question indeed we get quite regularly. So targets in ColdStream, we're extremely flexible in it, in the sense of it's basically a multi-objective, multi-constraint optimization that's happening in the backend, where you can also control all the weights of each and one of those each and one of the parts of your objective. So if you, for instance, want to do a combined mass minimization with temperature minimization and pressure drop minimization, you can control yourself what the importance is of each of those components. Then, with respect to the computational resources, we have a question. So the computational resources, as usual, are controlled via our credit system. Our credits are basically non-burnable credits, so they represent a certain part of our backend supercomputers that we allocate to your account. The more credits you have allocated to your account, the more calculations you can do in parallel, or the faster you can actually let your computations and your design runs run. And that's always to answer the question, how much do I need? Well, that's really a part where my team comes into play, who will be of assistance and if trying to evaluate it together with you, what's the most optimal, configuration for your needs there. Let's see, maybe time for one last question, and that's so with respect to the inputs, as you have seen, ColdStream and cloud native tool, and as it's usually the case with these kind of applications, all the inputs that you give are automatically stored, so you don't have to worry that if you enter something and your browser gets stuck or you lose your battery dies out suddenly of your laptop, you won't lose anything because the inputs are automatically stored at any given moment. Voila. See, there are still a few open other questions. We will get back to you ASAP on those, but for now I would like to thank you all to attend this webinar. If you have seen something that would be of interest to you, and I sincerely hope so, I kindly invite you to book a demo via our website. You will see there's also a dedicated link to book the demo directly with Roxanne or me, whoever is available, so that you can have all the information directly firsthand from our senior management here within the company. Want to know more? And so book the demo or contact us directly via any means that you see fit, by phone, by email, and so on. So lastly, I would like to thank you for attending this webinar. Also want to thank our technology partners, Ansys and Hexcom, for their support. We also have some very exciting features coming up the next few weeks, but more on that later. So, okay, that being said, I hope to see you soon and have a very good day.